Armageddon. Primordial workmanship detailed to pinpoint direct, earth as it isn't heaven. Totality realized sight of itself mirrored in the tadpole's sprouting legs to feast on air and move about the countryside, all while calling for home. Victimhood of demons patrolling to pursue authority over other intelligences instead of themselves, and the tadpole grew a tail of fur, climbed into the trees, knuckling fruit, climbed out of the trees, losing tail, still knuckling fruit, and subsided in the stale galaxial swirl of golf courses and air conditioning, whereby animals die by the billions as the sacrifice on the cross of the almighty dollar. The serpent coughs its own tail as a badge of honor among the insane, growing delirious in the span of days, whereby the sun obliterates cold with light, and in the night the moon radiates soul, which in our cardinal stupor we mock, to appease this disease of knowledge that began a millennium ago at the dust of an altar. It was a voice that grew people. It was a choice that knew nothing of set outcome. And the tail is swung from home to home, sheltering in the overcast of clouds as sunlight broke free and burnt villages, and people in skin boiled over, and teeth bleached, and minds collaborated to conquer the sun, with man-made cities hosting towers of concrete, reflecting sun. The windows clear, peopled by amnesiacs who forgot their tails in the jungle dynamos of awe, with populace broken over themselves in their emaciated designs, with green leaves replaced by green money, which itself is replaced with the idea of money, whereby what is exchanged is not physical. It is an electronic allotment of collected labor values, all created by man for man to be free. But instead of liberation, man bound themselves, just as they do to wild animals. And the slogan, "Work will make you free," is adopted by these economies. And the people toil relentlessly under their own creations, creating surplus, whereby all life suffocates in this overabundance of tools and toys. And all the while, God said nothing, for he is all of us working, creating, and prophets voyage through astral dispositions to claim that they are hip to life and death and all who inhabit it, and still man scratches their ass right where a tail was, long ago when forests and jungles were not ripped through, in a quest of discovery of this materiality, and everyone panicking on this swirling organism. And God does not speak, even when spoken to, for God is not man, and man is not God, and God is man, and man is God, all concurrently true, found in each drop of dew, whereby as a child I woke bathed in golden light of morning, and the day was the day. And I contorted into child stupor, in an anguish of confusion, at the impossibility of it all, it being this multifaceted experience called life, that distorts in kaleidoscopic tangerines. As I look to my hands, seeing wrinkles of heaven in my palms, then suddenly realize that air is breath, and become aware of all these sensations, perceptions, thought forms, delivered instantaneously from blockchain categorical codexes, blitzkrieg by mind into physicality, and then back into pure substance, that which the West has not a name nor sense for this prima materia, that which creates and is created concurrent, for better or for worse. And there opens the chest of God, where our heart smolders inflamed in gold and blue as a woman takes an apple from the tree of life, swapping the apple and the burning heart. The woman carries this heart aflame into a fountain whereby cherubic statues float, and she buries this burning heart of God in her own breast, she falling to her knees in debilitating pain as the flames engulf her physical form, her falling into the fountain which has dried and coagulated, and her body is sacrificed in the empty well of the fountain, overlooked by cherubic statues, who begin to weep at this tragedy before them, filling the fountain with soul. But thy burning heart still aflame in the ashes of body, and the blue gold pillars whip back and forth, sizzling soul. And so upon this scene, a hand parts vapor distilling perceptions, picking up the burning heart and squeezes it dry of soul, takes it from the fountain across the sky and lets the heart float into the sun above, releasing love in its purest form from the bounds of form. But love is not all, and all is not love. The love wise wisely, the wise love wisely. Wild youth transfigures love into various diabolics such as jealousy, spite, venom, fear, possessiveness, and hate. And in such diabolics, delusions build and attachments build as the sun spins this earth in a twisting tango of revolt. And we twist ourselves into radical apostate visions of the lovers quarreling over themselves, in themselves, as themselves, without themselves, in control of themselves, therefore bonding in a radioactive materia that is mistaken for love. But the burning heart still beats in the sun. And I, who has created I, devolves from nightmare rodeos with bowls of thunder in the avenues filled with marijuana. And proto-hippie peace talks is claiming man down, man down. As a halo circles my head, exposed memory to wit. And you are I as I am you too, love. Portions claimed by destitute virgins who yearn their bodies' fulfillment and masturbate in the shower for hours upon hours as eventual dreams into reality, as reality cognates superstition, as superstition supersedes bare-bone shock treatment that electrifies the psych wards where I unlocked myself and found real reality begging for a chance. Hell has no place for anyone, but visions be damned into cyclic repetition. The children laugh in fields of hyacinth and rose. The eagle swoops upon the lake, hooking fish and talons fish. The buried rise from graveside's horn of retribution. You are not limited except by your own limits. Mind is a tool to use to build world, evergreen trees living through winter. There be the song of heroes descending into mundane silliness, approaching each other with cocks sparring over effeminacy, and gargling in the oxygenated bloodstream sweet each bodily organ, whereby raw materials of life penetrate into subatomic axioms, denoting explications of being, beginning or ending, or somewhere between. But that's for another time. Right now is all there is. Now, here, concurrently one grand dimension, where our perceptions, sensations, thought, feelings, all of them contemporaneously co-create and cohabitate by nature what we are, which is. And the lion devours the sun, which is God. And the moon delivers the lamb from God. And the jack of hearts breaks upon the mount. Without reason he breaks and babbles profundities. And the children learn his babbles and copy them, heralding a new age of philosophical output that retries a retelling of cumulative experience, only to repeat forever the phrase, "There is no I in team," whereby a radical philosopher philosophizes, "But there is a me." And we return to the beginning, so to speak, with the fool wondering empty yet filled, entering a pact with their self, to fool the fool, to drain the swamp, to bite the hand that feeds, to signal to those that see the safety of land. But there are no animals save the ox, worked and working, building the economic classes, feeding the nation, starved of truth of the absolute, and the fields have been plowed for centuries, and we have only just begun. Broken desktop, Richard Lingo-hearted, baby umbrella, snap ginge, but that's hardly alphabetical hallucinogen. I distort language to distort your mind. Liberation from delusion, hold on to your butts. Body crumble patriot, I mean a true patriot who kills because God hates gays and Mexicans. Mexicans to a true patriot means all of Central and South America, and patriot being a jingoistic carnivore, burping gasoline and genocide. But I hate God and piss biblical television, streaming rights to Algonquin death rates, Libro, Babel, textual intercourse, sold visions of mercurial fishing, consummate birth rates, Florida Exodus, and all of America flashes women on social media, unsolicited sex pics to disrupt and overpower women, the male penis penetrating consciousness, the male raping the mind of women, hetero-patriarchal madness explicated by the Bible, who I burn in a testimony of the faithless, toothless garden gnomes of pre-psychotic breaks, and I still question I and I's radicality. There's some meat on them bones, absolute game changer. Not to mention blacklisted parcel personalities who gossip, glance, gaunt, go, dance, and gripe more or less. Possibly as a communion of souls pushing against each other, in a shared delusion of separate dimensionality. All the while, God dies and reborn, and we celebrate I while I dies and reborn, co-obliterating experience during societal collapse. Pardon me, however, for my feet go numb during sitting meditation, and apples bleed. Remember the burning heart? Through their pants, as geometric collusion recalibrates dynamics of triangles, who grossly misinterpret Pythagorean numerics. I postulate hysterics on a time-fed dissolution of concentric love, baptized in animal fat on the 4th of July. Also preach to penis rising on imagination polluted by desires for sex, and the flag-waving, particularly breastfed habits whereby guns grope the natives and corn molested by Jesus, and I prepare a death march on the written word. Whosoever combines knowledge with sex shall inherit butthole touching, spread commiserating sphincter jubilees, slapped and loaded, all men come to daddy. But hark, an angel on a pole dancing for singles in the lonesome break of dawn during an ahistoric meltdown of hormonal manipulation. Eat, 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 says the stomach of Carthage, who died to Rome rising his red spread eagle. I demand a recount. I unwed from I, and divorce de-escalate I. Meandering unparticularly from bullfrog to pond, but God who is stripped of I clean my underwear, and play to the sound of soul in all its domesticated glory, but God who is a bush burning also clipped I's wings. And how about tomorrow? No to safety first, but the monsoon, but an egg dropped on floor gross. Who said anything was a mistake? Yeah, Iris bloomed and now death deconstructs. America, you grifting poser, killing for monetary profit. Long barrel bullet and he oils his shaft ready to burst. Yes, psychosexual repression of this distorted nation. You want to be free. You want to be experienced. Lining up meridians, 2 boats afloat sailing, 2 teeth eating meat fancy. But alphabetical relations sub-audio conveyance. As a passenger on a theme park ride, strapped in no give-backs, I smell scent of fear and paper, nonchalant in American decay. But a song recorded loses voice, patterns adrift both sailing, an ocean of wisdom dried up, love conquered, turned into a pillar of salt. And if 2 become 1, then become none, so says tumble of a fool fooling the foolish. Introspective turntable spin, hard rock and feedback, complete noise unscramble into divinatory lessons, stripped of frequencies, bodies die too soon. And I, passage of light, cry while writing this drivel from Godhead, whereby Godhead and aware presence filtered through I, and I, passage light, exposed by particles combining in this co-galactic soup, transparent co-parents building and formulating children who by now have been conquered by linguistics, thereby passing on cyclical calamity of culture and society. And disease sets on the reg, whereby Blacked Out Joe is dead, killed himself down in San Diego, and I mourn the loss of body, and I rip myself to return anew. But howsoever need apothecatic relief in between silence and a yell. Blacked Out Joe who cranked on cocaine, I smile at the bags under your eyes, and at the silver fox Josh cries, and I in Indiana sigh and shake. And your mother who weeps relentless, I bury thoughts in this poem, spanning pages life, torn out of this exist, perpetually anew. There goes Papalapa Trapatic, absolutely gnoming itself. But hark, the herald angels ring! Put on positive emotions as bathtub overflows. Cold distinctions, algebraic conceptions rendezvous with yod, and body distinguished by hands, and relapse into poetics by way of love, groaning syllogic redemption on the astral plane, partaking in absent-eyed do-gooder having a blast, beauty pushing through defenses, limits, barriers. Oh no! Scrawled on bathroom stall, the legs of your mother, several swastikas relating to Nazis, this bathroom stall, and penis stretching geopolitically around swirl of toilet bowl, have another drink, partake and annihilate. When fury dissolves, ego dissolves, realize body illusion, and I watch sunset ships cargo pirate anthropomorphized into dragons, western dragons, and cyclops. Look, I love to fornicate like the rest of us, or my body does sex with natural inclination. I was taught fear at a young age. I was taught love for myself years ago now. Despite coagulation of blood in systems of transit, And I, populace, drift angelic halo through tyrannical habits. West Side approximations revolting the known abuses. Absolutely, fuck the former and delusions of future. Swing for the fences, Henry, love. Darling, don't go home. Crowd-funded adolescents in arithmetic code for compliance. Broke down on the beach calling for stranger ways to fall. Babylon's system, harbinger of death to the truthless. Monkeys swing from tower to tower in post-apocryphatic skyscraping. Absolved of fate and with hate survive through these differing lives. There's a lesson in these words hidden in the cry of a bat at night, echolocate love. Scraps of peonies left over from spring's remunerations. Picked my nose in these apocalypse coming. Braindish teeth towards self-allegiance. Cradled monadic terrestrials dissolving in the quaternary. And if God had bathed, then so do I. Born complete with a set of eyes on the trinity of love, fear, and neutrality. About these visions of death defying the delusions of humanity, working class awareness unifying to overthrow outside and inside oppressors, maybe song and dance to revolt these systems and sciences based on what? Tunnel vision politics, piecemeal obfuscating dis-ease partitioned on each plot of land, while starvation in the land of superstitions. Like Jonah, we dive deep into the belly of the beast. Realizing a candle in the closet, the candle of flame and melting. Part of me is all of me. These arbitrary divisions, all of mind, itself a division. And out of these illusions, I dissolve to leave clarity of experience. Their world who falls under capitalistic contortions, illumine naked these hands displacing cosmology, terminological manifestations absolved of fate, death being an experiencing of experience, whereby love redevelops between supposedly separate beings. I mark my grave as mind develops a future, absent from time compliant in this mononucleic procession, morphing and moving in sphoidal abstractions, all-dimensional form, under persuasion of government society, mom and dad, who allocated language to be pressed into mind at birth, thereby shaping patterns and cycles of thought and perception, christening babes into psychostimulation of archaic worldviews, posing with an alphabet complete with culture and norms, norms within norms, wheels within wheels, flames within flames, gods within gods who die to fully reveal themselves, heartbreak and sodium falling from squinted eyes, bawling through diversification of proto-sexual desires, all communicative and algorithmic facades, stealing humanity from machines we have made, all in the image of us, to finally not feel so alone. A sign of creation, motion in the afterglow, there's too many to count. I lost in transdimensionality. Epochal visions turn hands of imagined clock, tempting pleasure with time. Gone and forgotten, also an absence of righteous zealots pouring liquor in fantasy Dionysian, possible conclusion of full-blown sex addicts craving material hell. I forbidding God who designed himself. I fabled and fabbled fool's gold, alchemizing echolocation to transparent scripture. Where's love as a vehicle and conclusion of terrestrial abnegation? Mark my words in this exposition of Fellaheen verse. Torn perception, dismantling ego, maniacal drivel from intergalaxies, but mub and squirm in pose of filth of American dependence. Tofu as eggs, turmeric to yellow taste, mashing victimhood with a religion, calling Jesus, who has some sort of ethnographic messiah, storms the golden gates of heaven, revealing the kingdom as autocracy. And I, blissed in daylight waning, measure light spilling from you. Maybe we got this right. This tin can, this venture of capital raising monuments, praising in a sacrificial salute to the glory save America. And I anarcho-commune to dismantle perfection, in my abstracted fear of perception, perfection due to delusive imagining. But I know now that visions obscure reality, and reality clarifies experience as experience. And there is the experience of imperfection in capitalism. Who said your God had all the dough? To meld fire and bake into sponge, mopping up the animal soup of time. Born, pulling body and immensity, forsaking pattern history. To dissolve history, to calcify and dismantle Messiah complex, death of a hero, death of a commonplace thing. Argo, mammalian chemistry, shed your fur and grow your brain, which fruition from astrality, Astrology, confined to electric pulses, a garden to resume Eden as humans disbelieve. Rewards do no good. Everybody yawns and sits blank stare. God descends and prays to you, sitting as stone. Magic restless exchange. Words fail to understand experience. I am a sunflower who sees a rose in me. There are no systems worth saving. Be bold as love. Cease! Osiris burning as a god make-believe. Astronomical verse positioning zodiac. Pulse of granular narration. It's all the attention. Not to mention slavery still existing as a tool of the West. Cold denial, you will face yourself as no thing. Barely able to sign a declaration, but speak as demons pursuing demise. Remember to bleed. There are no puppets, no strings. Absolved to repeat delirium. Named your ghost. Pet your delusion. There is salt forming in language. Pour and repeat delirium. What nonsense is this? Cold blood. Forged division from solitude. Do you believe? Ergo computation of being in parables denote the wise. Long intake, rose belly, flatten and deceptive exhale. It's all that can be. Do the propaganda. What have we that don't? Cold water flow, toxic factory, spew. Royalty is inherent in capital manipulation. Don't fight, listen deep, patrol machine. Rope, pull it. Very fine. Ground, powder, built nostrils, and locomote. Vision boundary, continual. But the bear wakes looking to each in rebirth. Masticate, toe break, fate obscures. You alone? Never. Beat poet making synonyms. Ugly living, me and I. Turn your back, soldier cars, jet plane. Push, notify, rectify, glorify, release, absolve. Detroit, hometown gossip raised in dive bar. 2 young ladies, plump, white, brown, and blonde. 2 old dudes who gaslight America into delusions of past glory. Hold hands, make out, suck tit and cock, slurp beer, drunk as doorknob, animal instincts. Do you see where this goes? Nowhere and Nowhere America, cover band comprised of Vietnam veterans playing CCR poorly, remember horrors napalm, and death trap spike pits, while the 4, drunk and horny, move to their respective cars to solicit each other. Everybody copy, everybody capitalize, sell, sell, sell. Punk says fashion, it's a style, dress code. Your definition of punk is obsolete. You are obsolete. Once you corral it, try to contain it, to sell, to capitalize, you have become obsolete. Worried about how many people are in the crowd? Fuck you and your pose of punk. It's fashionable to look radical. Should have known this was to be, and in fact I did, just didn't say anything in order to maintain illusion of peace. Gimmicks, copy originality, to produce and sell bullshit. Fashion, that's all it is to you. I find fury in the ache of heart, rage at the social state perpetuated by disciples. Bury your heart in my soul and call it fashionable to do so. Burned blood and ritual starvation, and I sigh in my rage away from society. Do they know anything else? Do they know anything else? They have experienced difference and yet choose the same. Bodies chasing bodies, all of them chasing immortality. This ain't an act, this is no performance. I open heart to sing. I release emote built up in the devastation of colonization, in the death of a poet, in the rage against the dying of the light. View systemic obligations, original, gut-throat, plundering heaven now. Teeth sunken and smitten, it's 11 o'clock and the sun is out. Body full of surprises, cool lemonade to gulp. I envision love in its masterpiece. If body could sever, leaving wet, blood led to door open, willing, habit, teeth bared, closet open and willing. Fast gets of them, and what about it? It being, just being, belong. Goodbye. And I wake up, body stiff from regenerating. Family affair, changing from the ground up. This hair length, this beard length. Naked and unafraid, poised upon our sun, glowing inexplicable. It's these galaxies meet. Within us there is space to dance, to grow, to sing. I shout delirium and void of mother. Passive activators obliterate function. There's no wisdom in stagnation. Heart to heart there is no denying, but fragile, just as an ecosystem, not to forget. There goes alphabet rambling, and dreams our way to return, and dreams our sense to learn. No gifts, no wishes granted, elbow grease and love for the work, which is life. Refine rage, point towards self, obliterate, collapse. There is love, there is emptiness, there is fallout psychological. I formed myself in ruins by picking up the pieces, putting them together, only to realize that no tower is the way to see, is the way to clearly see the sun in daytime sky, the moon and stars in night sky, reality as it is before our formulations, projecting our delusion of independence on our shared reality, concurrently operating in one vast dimension, tempered by space-time and an expression of force and form melding together. The act of creation, noble, historic, holistic, the very thing which we ultimately do as an impression of the universe living itself. Oh, the beauty and the paradox of life. Chatter insoluble, sun through leaves and limbs of trees, shadows speckled, I am for life lived. Not to drag memory or eradicate bliss, bird song elevating neurological condition, healthy nervous system shocked back into sanity, and I grow and I feel redemptive, and I child is alive, and I ego has dissolved, and I rear view refocused. There's not much else to do but right. Congruent limits deconstructed, your body I hold and kiss, and we shrug in our stupor filled with bliss. Homemade, every villain origin, take 3 pills to stay awake, slobbering over delicacies, envy of gods going to war. What patterns repeat by the hour on the hour? If fish could understand water, if trees understood air. Blood blisters, pinched nerves, there's a hell of a lot of chest hair. And if the moon, oh the moon. Don't forget Wednesday we will run out of cans of beans, and the cats will climb the hill for food, and I redirect eye towards eye to solve eye. Oh, what's the use when laboratories grow babies and intelligence is artificial, while the wind blows in the sweltering heat, turning us on in the night, tormented by our lovers. What do we care in the days of an apple? What do we care in the nights of an orange? Little prayer by moonlight, spoken easy over bed with needle and thread, stitching together words to be fruitful and multiply. Multiply. Nonsense to child brainstorming different ways to love and affection. Nonsense to sparrow floating over park benches in a hungry city, lean, deconstructed, boasting of forgotten families. I turn about a leaf in my hand, the leaf a very strong green, and recite mantra of blue sky, recalcitrant, ego-aware, and only poets love proper. Upon the pages they express it. Who shall not reckon the salt of the earth? Who believes in magic? Oh, come on down from thy kingdom to drown. In the abandoned mall parking lot, in the garden poised with statues of Venus, erasure, moon over vast grave, growing defiant souls. In America, you big goofus, you murderous riot, you Santa Claus lie. Deformed in image, respect thy what name? I've petted bovine in summer sun, I've sweltered for much fun. Lemonade for sale, making money, children making money for free? We push limits to contract, recovering a satellite. And if the woods speak, they do. Give meaning, what lessons? Drift, lock, and load 80s action movies. But to deny progress, I venture forth, realize, and liberate. Sophist in the drawing by great Andalusian revolver revolving, put to teeth, marble to daydream, an alliance of sorts. But buzz goes this bumbler, and I shift eyes towards neon thunder. Boys die to be men. Men die to be boys. I follow poesy to roots, my root poetics playing hide and seek. I a game with myself. Follow the leader. I lead, I follow. Here I am, nothing without this poem. A hero gone to die, a line broken off mid-sentence, superimposed your genitals foaming. All there is. Houseplant reaching, there goes term limits, postulating theorems disguised as sexual liberty. Oh man, what about shame? Perpetual ignobility. No feelings mutual, sunbathed. Ah, my missing Tory members, and I can walk again to you, down the stairs to you, if you are open to the idea of formless intercourse made in a Burger King parking lot. So much fancy, focus, freedom is free, flatulence, dive bob, you right, you wrongs, message ago, dumb diddy diddy dumb baloo, and I let these oranges rot for the sake of starvation. In the morning green, press your luck, dressed to dinner in a fucking movie. Long avenues, Wilson from Castaway purported to be found. Non-state atheist begging for a god. And seldom does the monkey prophesize delirium. Go away, come back, here, take my nanner. Look, people don't have the right to question authority. That is the Bible, its message, and shape-shifting cowboy lover falling from grace. We welcome joy, and if song escapes, purpose of newlyweds to give up, you took your name from a Bible and used the Bible as a cum rag, biblical delirium. A poem postulating ethics in a clown costume. You put forth your message. I agree that we could all die. And in that their common denomination, we find perpetuity of fear. A body becomes a ghost. A love longs to be close. What methods to perceive love? This table holds poems. I told poems to breathe. Look, we all will die. So breathe. Easy does it. I'm not going to leave you. Promise. Regions happy enough with a new groove. Violence beget violence, cyclical feud. But hark, some angel revolt God. Lo, storied wars, apocalyptic prevention. Broken branches hanging, dying, latent, petrified. Invisible intelligences pushing, pulling. Seesaw tactics in the woods alone. Listen, I built a kingdom and gave it back to the people. This kingdom of words, of sounds classified and formulated. But they, even that, revolt even that. Good! I, semblance of old wisehead, gray-bearded, sighing as love settles and bones reset without pain or torture, all on their own. Oh, birds and trees gallivanting around pecking bark for seed of city harvest, reaped from asphalt toxins, pollutant for eons. My body told me so, that sky would rain, and we'd fuck under the patio, out under the patio, and your body told my body, and then I agreed. Looking back at episodic delusions, laying with you, city harvest, the crop of soul, unified, dignified, verified, I abide by my personal variations. And the old die off, they suck, stuck, unyielding. Maybe we did some good, us in our age, us in our rage. What's holding us civilians up? Grass green ground marvelized. I, slight of God, hand you heaven. Foremost wanderer coming home to rest. Visions in the afterglow of microaggressions transgressed on divisibility. Whatever's in season, darling. Like microbes growing together, but that vision defeats purpose. We corrupt our government with compassion, complex passion, dialectic vertebrae sparkling. Divine radio pleasure, knob that tune. Spoiled my sex-free summer. Next in line is a building needing filled with people, I presume. Motion of cars debating gasoline, where I, America, dissolves Iraqi children. So much atrocity to uncover. After our president molests the minds of the masses, and I come alone on the floor in bathroom, whispering to the mirror over sink, the mirror which reflects and deflects, as I sigh empty of hormones, looking to myself for answers. Terrible. Just terrible. In this information age, soulless and extravagant. Body doubles as a phantom power telescope, searching the stars for heart. Ah, so far the galactic tango pulses invisible mementos, whereby children eat mud and lay down to nap in dandelions. Have you forgotten? Have you actually forgotten? Look, I refrain from loathing on the grounds of the natives here. The natives, ahistoric as I, also born here, content with ancestry. But I listen deep to the land itself, echoes of liberation, ancient, yet burgeoning from the forest and the fields. No matter how much those pioneers fucked up this land, she speaks, and those who listen learn. To wilt in the dog days of America, who shall soon give birth to a real America, and the past will be the past, as I look at our forlorn cities who are subsidized by capitalist hierarchies and vicious loops of domestication. And all song deconstructs domestication unless you are told what to sing. unless you sing how you are told to sing. Ears bleeding with bloodshot eyes and bloodshot crowds rambling bloodshot. Rambling into each other detached, squirming as a worm who has surfaced because of rain. Squirming as robins and other birds peck the fuck out of them, while the sun burns away the clouds and the birds feast under a rainbow. Ah, what's the use? Peculiar diet on verge of extinction, brain blast wired by vultures, co-opting Chinese food and technologies, warbling teeth byproduct gold mine, now trembling, apostolic union revelation, buried to revivify and grow roots, but the airplanes, but the dandelion seeds and cottonwood seeds demonstrate lengthy postulates about government abuse, video evidence bolstering the abused. Monologues for the mad, breathing with intent, eye anxious in the wait for malnourished, heart beating, blocking out experienced nature. Fills you up, don't it? Light muted, invisibly relaxed, in post-coital clarity. The Twin Towers, the Pentagon, sexual combustion, screaming organs, yellowed teeth, shift-shaping nomads. Power is deconstructed and the goal is not sex. The goal is liberation. Passive counterparts. Put it in and ride. I forgive your body. Can we just lay here in silence? Questions about systems built to abuse, formality built by whom, for what reasons? Have we not deconstructed America? How have we not deconstructed America? How have we not deconstructed the human body? Emotionally pent-up aggression, confusion, and disheartened reflection. Not to be mistaken, do you experience love? Do you be? Pop star fandom, microbiologic definitions, e-senses who art deliverance, made better by cosmologic vocals and backbeat bartender saint who catcalls themselves into thirst traps, oceans of miniseries on Hulu which fetishize poor people. I'll read that one more time, slower. Oceans of miniseries on Hulu which fetishize poor people. Grafting money which is abstracted, the physicality of wealth subside, erasing poor people's voice in politics. Now we just have the idea of money. The idea, that's it, just the idea of money, which is labor values non-materialized. How obscene! How destructive does this system become? World is a gold mine. I is authority, whereby I means government. I vote for the lesser evil. I vote for resurrection. I vote for genocide by the dozen. Now deconstruct I. Wherefore art thou master? There is no calling. There is no outside authority. Boardroom gossip on frontier of solace, but bedbugs infest and we itch and cry. Put yourself together with your puppeteering emotions, bold outpouring of grief. I am just existing. Validity of capitalism molding economic platforms, bilateral disenfranchisement. Poke the belly of the bear who, asleep, snores. We've got a whole lot of money to spend. Banks burn, flags burn, boomers burn. Wild incognates who trample government in afflicted fury. No means till death do we part ways, triangular, wishless, obsolete within finite gravitational metrics obtained by a programmatic spheres of dialogue between obfuscating engineers and pre-political iconographic heretics who bashed prenatal symptoms with patriarchal process of elimination. Big dreams, says the dynamite. I fell in love with an apple orchard. I whisk away into midnight revolutions. Who made to order comply with government regulations on revolt? Who made to order comply with government regulations on revolt? Fate to change an American fall. Ordinate love be expired, repressed, recall. Flavor blasted to the dome. Brain religious as soaking in the foam. I'm a monkey who hath tools to use. Wrench applied, tighten abuse, and to speak on government atrocities, pushovers in the political parties, prolong allegiance to the flag, waving genitalia, how ordinary persuasion, just to gild a nation, coagulating to heal. Money. I value no thing, but all things are sacred. Battle of minuets, holy, holy motherland, where children return years later as adults and find themselves more lost than before. What questions prepare for intellectual tussle? Bodies, you elegant fuck machine who surprise neglect on neuroses. Familiar function of this World Wide Web. Baby, take our clothes off. There aren't no other world. I gotta tell you, my heart is on the floor. America, you know it, two-timing choreographed fallacy who smacks black Americans with police and regresses into white supremacy, which it always has been. And I slump in the oncoming gridlock of fascism overtaking public speech. There be death and war in America crumbling. How so? What voice to break through defenses? An arbiter to relieve fear and anger. I follow the roots of America into the apartheid of colonial states and a republic of wealthy whites who raised their banner of war. I sit in disarray with this wound up America, sick of the villainous ideologies of our social systems, cold-blooded, heart-pumping, reptilian minds. America has lost the war with itself. America is still at war with itself, and no peace can be found until America has won. Can we take our children's names off the list? Apple butter spread in August. Oh, I'm questioning myself, vetting out vehement aggressions, and since poetry defines not a visionary approach to rot, appeal to lower courts in this no-named lullaby. So sorry to offend you who rattles barbaric rants about your perceived power being taken away in this hierarchical structure where you are actually with the rest of us. I'm in a collapsing empire. I'm in an empire collapsing. Bothering to meet regret? What voice? What sound? Can we dialogue our way through war? Your God is not mine and is all in your head. How long shall they kill our prophets? It's these poems nonchalant. Alphabetic genocide, appropriation of symbols, lest we, America, be full of snakes. Boiled potatoes, I hunger. Your world is turning, and yet you refuse to change with it. Wherefore art thou, poem, tangled up in blue, and sound systems draining the poor, dystopian government declarations, eating dog food to fill full. Push, radiate, exist, speak. Your willpower has no masters. Why do you praise Jesus? I burned biblical mementos. Eat the rich. Devour the America who devours you. Is that dog eat dog? Violence and incest are part of the Bible. You are weaponized against your comrades and your love is shattered, dumped by capitalism into regression. Phony corporations have no authority. It is difficult to believe when a whole culture has no base to work from. When everything we do is rooted in lies and mirage. Believe in what? In whom? I don't believe in fairy tales. Behold, pure energy. Whoso fractureth thy mornings of America, stolid denouncement grafting parties, rhetoric devolves and I obsessed. Tell me about your secrets that render America obsolete. Pals without money, we create for ourselves a new world. If there are people who admonish viability, censored by limp dicks, color-coded histrionics, pulsate with cash flow, a triumphant scheme in this loser economy, belly up but hungry, through although banning books to secure your vote. And if I vote for myself as my own authority. Regulations over technologic imprints and our data breached. Look, people are coerced into dysfunction. This coercion is the backbone of capitalism. And frankly, I demolish your capitalist systems. I, poet of love and liberation, call to these trees who were overjoyous in their sturdy growth. By the way, this poem does not correspond temporally in any sense of place as a mistake. Do good, citizen. Burn down all churches. What expression of fear? There is no home to wander to. Merriment, lift thy radicalized presence. It's the culture to reason with. Heartbreak on the eve of salvation. Young pup yodeling love in a monsoon. Soon as we get home, you can get a drink. Primacy of skin, breathing lost air. Again, pleasure is all mine, not for you. Forging bilateral accoutrements in an effort to hug. Sorry the scene lives and dies. Post-American. Dutiful as we break our backs entering each other. Passion obtuse, fold back into paper notes in classroom. Forego adulthood, drive free and wild. If Kentucky raises its children towards the south, if Indiana returns to Indian land. We walk empirically into the gift shop. Poems rage through telecommunications, diverted from revolution with a cat video. Homies at the homestead, a garden full of fresh foods, plucking and eating social systems. Reintroducing to wild systems, deliberate reciprocation of divinity. Youth belong to Photoshop, alabaster paint job infiltrate these landlords. Poisonous Agrippa pondering stratosphere. Can you tell me your love? Can you cry and weep abrupt? There's much to do in the West. I, American, dissolve creation. Patterns reveal systems, reveal culture, artifacts. Connect the dots. Passing the fields, I stunned by life. Beauty revolt these senses, I fences lean. Stars of Hollywood, what money? Short on death. I'm sure the children know that you, America, are fake. Prisons expanding, needing filled to justify growth. I'm not a vigilant except in these woods. There's the violence of police. What overlooking rage? People panic, I'm a mirage. What voices scream in escalation? The road swerves ahead, nomenclature eviscerate dread, pulse of cardiovascular fed, bed unmade, nest of blankets, pillows, I as a child held down the fort, forgive thy instinct settling into riverbed, thereby denoting allegiance to rain, but the sun has broke the plain, silence at best, willful at rest, scorn to rule a kingdom of pretend. Build to fall to question all forms of authority. Wisdom culminates into practice. Beauty barely returns at a rate equal to light copulating. What birth in this physics? Held together unnameable. A child. An old man shaketh to death. And death a motto to live by. Resurgent this hope for love. Partake in extramarital affairs. Forlorn in the mire of society, groupthink implemented. Look, I am growing this beard. A city so small, a city lacking in culture. Silence means business. Appointed develop strain eyes optics. Relish motor blown gasket appraisal. Bitter ramen sown by blood. Particle, position, effigy of your god, symbolic symbiosis, scavenger, safari, all the king's horses and men, blabber and eyeballing your space, refurbished New England, Midwestern gallantry, plain Jane, what's your name? Pills take violence molecular, sedate, rebate, forsake, excavate, billowing penumbras or something. Soup Golgotha in these tiny robotics. Science building aluminum torsos with microprocessors to denote even more civilization upon the civilized. Slavery of mechanics. Ivory Tower reconnaissance. Princess, where are you? But thy finger paint delusion. I'm a trollop, senior discount. Old people suck because they refuse to change. Take the back seat. Open ocean staring. Longing for new places without acknowledging the old. Symbols of Armageddon. Child mesmerized by fire. Autonomy taught, cultivated. On rise, a villain for the hero. A song emits perfume. Lavender. Exit synonymous with control. Leaflets encourage rebellion, but the king who hath no crown. Barbarians from within. Analog death reorder. Pause. Since we began this war, we won and lost simultaneous. It's the bodies piling up. House. Not in my lifetime. But I remember how you felt. Who are you to starve? We gather here today outside of genre. There are better days ahead. Claim animal independence, surrogate motherhood, postulate divorce with a snack that smiles back. Here is the 11th commandment. Thou shalt not feast without starvation. Pulling symphonics towards rebellion, analyze but regret stones thrown, paternal vibrancy coalesce, another mode of fruition, billy clubs no more, refrain. Families get involved. 4th of July, reasons to explain reluctance, but there is this fear in me of letting go again and really open up. Silence, children grown into servants of the ruling class, priorities shift, elbow room, vehicles, sayonara, pulse, earth dying, infinite poetry, coexisting penumbras, bold saffron, congestion, serial killer movie, mashable art. I deny your God and raise you Jesus contemporary. I hold back. Children wake without sleep. Positions of clouds in sky. There's a scene. Call it disaster. Special review channel. Obtuse rhetoric calling home, but really no lesson in heartache where bleeding rose home an institute for whether or not you lie on this bed, head, sleepy congruent, alphabetics, rest in jeweled matrimony. Look! Back in the game. Who did it? I see these years of reflection, solitude, contemplation, regular. Not average, though. Bottling, planet, heating up, reform, relate, regurgitate. Parcel, princess, pony up, baby. Sold out of poems to respond. Republican death march. Poetics postponed. The dairy industry. Will you pretend with me that America is glowing and free? How about sensitivity of the I sing? I'm here full of love to give. Hands held simple as that. Too many lives lost in a day. Where do we go and how do we play again? Not lost on me and our inherent needs to whistle away pain and gather ourselves together to share ourselves. Long summer open to anything. Looking back to realize where I'm going, we never have to leave again. We found ourselves within ourselves, right where we left off. A synonym beyond space-time. No more nations, no more lines. I'm here and ready to give it all again. Healed. For the most part, I'm breathing. I'm moving forward, onward, more fully aware of all. Who marches in place to be. I look to myself to make new. Creation the beginning. What sound? No sound to follow, besides my own redemption. What it is to be free. Weeping forlorn Sagittarius meltdown. Long eyelashes protrude anomaly of you. Fingers plate guitar strings jelly. Closed doors non-materialized. Fables told at dinner time. Who, what's it gonna play? The reinvention of play. Not coriander paprika smooch. Scent of devil who hath divisions of love. But aliens macro transmitting our boreal speech. And so I touch the trees with savored lump in throat, goaltending your version of God, smiling verisimilitudes, and you who find symptoms of death, welcome death. Older aged facts dismantled as lies, and it rains on the 4th of July. Constructs of the mind, itself a construct of us. Personally, I dance whimsical with empty hands. Who trains, who leaps, postpone reality. Not too hard to do, with a little bit of practice. Postulating curriculum vagrant demigod, harmful in a sense responding to stimuli, rats and tests, fishes in a barrel, fun is a lonesome novelty, questioning good graces, animalistic evidence contrary to popular belief. What vision, armed fascists, white men with money paying to kill America. I wear my halo tight around my crown. And if evolutionary get-up poses for kinkdom, sex rules the minds of these maladjusted fucks. Do you disagree? Blood on your hands. I have a vision of lead-laced water killing the black community. Not at all what we were taught in school. And it was not taught in school. Post-American hubris. You, white America, sway without glory. Mediocrity in an old Bible to relate to. Invisible arrangements, the guitar shall speak again, animosity aside, raining on the 4th of July. Call me to receive the words, not at all of this world, diagrammatic overload, shifting satellites, recovering data, means to keep companies running. I watch rain form puddles. Enemies? What about war? Relegate symphonies to erosion. Lost catalysts of self-implosion. Buyout. But I listen and these walnut trees speak, saying nothing and in their communication explaining all. Where are the sultans? Where are the kings? Where are the brute force? Where are the masses revolting? Maybe the sun comes out. Maybe we make believe. Oh, animal eye taken care of, to form, to discover, to emancipate, to witness nuanced brilliancy. Baby, we are alive in a sanctuary of space. Put away your dollar bills. Who neglects love, neglects themselves. Poems on a playlist. Mozart is for fuckwads. An American haiku. Sons and daughters co-emergent. Belly speaks laughter in this abusive culture. Two signs on a road diverging. Mouse. Look at science who are mystical, curious. Bombshell, gravitate towards depopulation. Accurate nonsense, bona fide apple pie. Let's regulate this economy. Patronize jealousy, realize tidbits of paranoia, panic and hysteria. So your story is sold to Hollywood? Bar none shall pass. There's a freak on a leash. Slow down, doggy-doo. Mention Palestine in your dreams. Correct punctuation? Term limits? To save America? Oh, this end of empire is amusing. Lose momentum for the rest of us, looking at creation as an idea of necessity. What sounds to find, what grounds to root into, figure motivate, end of hermit in the woods, so speak a symbolic rebellion. Lucid. Cultivate perfect poetic lines, dialogue of children pushing paint, volume of muse, I reach an ending. Sold galaxy for gold, sold gold for galaxy. Patriotic dipshit poking fun at empire, but no, disharmonics, not disharmonics. There's so much focus that I'm starving. Indiana, you slow in the long march of humanity. Television, drowning in mobile tech, parlay governance and hope these systems keep on failing us. To look back at last few years' explication of exploration, I revive. Onward without exact goals except collective liberation. I can write a poem about disease. Formula of white supremacist empire being groomed into becoming. What a fight, this personal war. Bring me delusional approaches to nostalgic interludes of childhood belief in these social systems, including parents who have not deconstructed empire in themselves, thereby regurgitating empire, and on a subconscious level enacting empire in every facet of their lives, then not being cognizant of their nuanced authority, thereby teaching the next generation empire, thereby passing empire and war on in a cyclical calamity, where we subconsciously learn to submit to all authority, and everyone becoming authority over others, looking to control outside of themselves, for they do not control themselves, thereby looking outwards for control, love, reason, being, stability, etc., which is empire on its colonial death march in the microcosm. Who owns you? Is the voice in your head your voice? Whose voice is it? Do you concretize empire in the microcosm? Look, you're correct to weep at the futility of your collective efforts of a post-American life. To deny is to grasp ignorance. I let poetry sweep away my dialogues. If America sings again, I'll be with old Walt Whitman, who saw a future we in America can still fulfill. Get off your front porch and sing in the summer night. I still believe in fireflies who play instruments of light. What hour to become again, on the verge of romance and big dreams that never go smash. Feel. Engrossed, I let trees sing. They know all and learn all. Bodies tangled, orgasmic union, celebrating creation by creating. How heavy the creation of America as a polity. How heavy the death, also creation, of America as a culture. Unanimous, there is the knowledge of collapse, but still I sing, and the poets vibrate souls alive. Yet the sun, also unanimous, behaves indifferent, and birds gather pecking this earth. I hear the call to feel and sing alive, the death knell of America. True democracy is to be believed in. These latent truths shall soon be realized, and the real America shall be born. My allegiance is to myself, and through myself, all. Feel the interdependence of all so-called things. Purpose is to be. So be. Love. Excite. Die in birth. Faraway stars are perfect in their mystery. You are perfect in your mystery. And our love shared discovers itself as we commune to dissolve the barriers of body. Resume life without ignorance of life. Put down your palms of tech. Pretend to be gnomes in the forests. Be free by being. I am liberated as I sing. Even when silent I sing, same as the trees. Hooray for clumsiness in this exploration of verse. Hooray for diatribes against your God. Hooray for our periodic unentanglement of successive deconstruction. Of love shared, love remembered. I signal to you redemption. Song of fire floating ethereal heat, bodies collapsed in joyous embrace, stripped of all clothes and barriers, copulating in feverish excitement of life. They both laughed, their knees cuddling in an aftermath, pausing to look to the east at sun rising, and in silence there is smiling together. What is this day? Hope is alive and I am after redemption. America is after redemption. What rules to live by? Sound of chickadee, song of sparrow, earth reclaims us, rule of death, love, rules of wise love, interdependence, karma, interbeing. And the thing is, we create all these rules. We rules ourselves without being aware of it. Don't be discouraged, and if you are, it's all right. Feel it, trace discouragement to its source, and get to the root to rip yourself free from that overwhelming emote. Visions of Abraham burned by Bush, alphabetics and American interdependence, lost no more, the evaluations of prosperity, where I am with you, you with me, and live life accordingly. Almost. There, symptoms derailed me, but I returned to my path now unbreakable, for I broke at my core. But I took time to breathe and untangle my emotions, getting to the root of my suffering, and I cleansed my wound, dressing it with medicine and gauze, working to mend the break in me. And I have healed and continue to heal. I have never truly been disconnected from anything. A delusion in my own, brought about by pain and fear of femininity, groomed by patriarchy and by childhood trauma, but no more fear. How to realize voice, heroic and in fact redeemed. Yet this voice has always been my voice. Always will be my voice. Sound of Anderson who art Hoosier. In Midwestern America, a Western cohort. Sympathies to none. We dispel delusion through song. Sympathies, condolences, love shared. I exist not separate, actually separate. Palms grasp technologic transcendence who gouged America with fossil fuels, possibly as a nation. Calm bust diatribes concerning white folk who are not disheveled by America. Concerned wealth goes to the wealthy, part of doing business. And get? Class, race, gender? What arbitrary divisions that we've created. At this hour, most relevant, yet still arbitrary. Corporate Christian fascism, bleed America, who art not holy in a holy land. Fishers in public, righteous dynamism, in a sense, skin deep. I co-create my experience. All these cats are starting to smell. I shoulder roots of working class whites. Let's end empire. Let's start anew, recognizing our history. These kittens play under the hostas. White fur, orange tails. Almost twins, these kittens. I bridge the mountain pass, hold up with Babylon, procreating two rivers, flooding history. Reemergence from ignorance. Cultural backdrop coinciding with revolution. These articles of social progress demand all from us. And we are dying for what? The landscape has congealed. I paint my horoscope, fashionista. Rules imposed by illegitimate governments, illegitimate authority. Long language backs up preemptive release. Born to share autonomous, berry plucked to be eaten. Silver-dollared no man's land portrayed as Eden. Funny Cleopatra science bowling over reimbursed children. Bored eclipse of modern gamma rays. Enlightened cock raised by bearded hero. Stamina, the volume of 4. Code breaking a sweat. Latitudes crossed in capitalistic endeavors. From the front porch. Welcome home. There is no party. Dualistic paradigms. You get freaky? I raised America on Wonder Bread. Loafing in the loamy yard. Past participle pretending to be now. We gain romantic impressions by the day. Who said we are free? I am for collective liberation, but he holds his dick triumphant over his companion sleeping after combustion. It's a world defanged, purpose unresolved, their memories unlocked. What humors do we neutralize? How's your Gauld's alterations? Curling organic, visible spectrum of spectrality? Invisible. How made and pray viciously? Comment mental, spoken hunt for life. On the go, clock in, clock out, paying for your service. Fine-lipped, alphabetonumerics, nominal love growling patriotically with the blood of Christ. We welcome home papal dignitaries of this Judeo-Christian pornography, smut of God. Relax. We all want to fuck. Post-coital stupor rising as the congregation spitting tongues, an American Bethlehem. Born of Osiris, cradled in Babylon, this factory farm America, possibly as a nation, who pleads for Jesus, fireworks, and sex, all while denying themselves of themselves. I take not my discombobulation, passage not learned, poetic appetite relating to visual stimulation, no length of memory reduced by song filled out in praise of what? Pre-molecular deification of rock and roll, who splatters sonic revelation upon crowds riled up in yearning. They crumbling for a long-forgotten God to break their bread, cutting themselves in the revolt of their immaculate bodies, blood and numbness deafening, as imagination procreates with Venus, giving birth to tortured love, synonym with anti-fascist action and non-hierarchical communities, breathing together, healing together, weeping together, in semi-orgiastic seances where teeth are sacrificed to a bonfire raging towards heaven, which is proto-dimensional and exists concurrently with our perceived reality. Ah, yes. First teeth, then bones ordered off Etsy, sacrificed to the data collectors of big tech, who compile whole lives through their surveillance systems, and could disclose the truth to life if only those artificial intelligences had soul. Omnidirectional transfer of wealth, which, by subsubordinance to God, which is America, as told by pedophilic prophets and supersized churches down in Texas, with a congregation paying for televised sermons, that breed a displacement of cosmos and beg for Jesus to return to take them away from this world of so-called sin. How to burn down all churches and dismantle the strangling that the Bible does to liberation, while also understanding the contextual framework of that soul eater, thereby realizing the destruction of the West being disconnected from our roots of paganistic revelry that the people yearn for on an unconscious level, which we will never be fulfilled unless a huge revolt of Christendom occurs and a massive reconnection to pagan roots occurs, thereby giving people grounding and release from Christianity and its fucked up values and guidelines, which destabilizes whole cultures and life in all experience. Criminals begging to God is a masterpiece. The ruling class claims God. Let them have it. We revolve seasonal, producing visions of angels full of eyes, spheres of eyes winged, and our bodies deliver more angels that coalesce with our frequencies, passing genomes on through metaphysical manipulation. And I contemplate supposing silence as intellect, flow of thoughts ceased, and therefore able to rest, postulating without words the space inhabited, like the actual dimensionality we are made of in experience, and therefore the unnameable primo materia that all comes out of, bonded by history and bloodstreams. I confess to myself that I know nothing, yet still love and am loved somehow. I'm at a standstill. Punk rock roots, ethics on sharing art or promoting art or making money off art to survive and continue making art. I have always let the art speak for itself and was not directly pursuing money or fame, but pursued this idea of greatness and acceptance within a wide-ranging community that would possibly lead to money and notoriety, and that pursuit is a gut-level drive at bettering myself, at the expressing the far-reaching vision and using my inherent ability to find objective truth, the roots of conflicts or questions of or abstract concepts in my own life journey. Develop internally, change eternally to reflect internal shift. Muse rides again. A systemic writer's block. Sold defunct copyrights in culture war. Downgrade Vietnam's aftermath. Collective revision of a parade. Limit viable sentence retention. Can you hear the song I sing? Press bare feet into pothole puddle and jump. Possible recluse forgives indefinite. I try radio silence, but I can't help but sing. Introduction of poet into the poetic narrative of poem. Release convergent on colloquial constructs such as Blue Bridge or coffee shop or library, asymmetrical divisions appropriated by city government. Hang, loosen up. Why death controls the market if you can economically struggle, biting your own hands while feeding yourself. Silence on such topics, catalyst of apocryphic media, eye dumbstruck, dazzled by phenomena, orange stars swirling in the moonless night sky. Blot out rebellion, signed by statesmen who are corrupted. Age of relics transpired as beauty. I don't call for you, love. There seems to be a ferocious gaze, eyes puncturing jealous bystanders. Port of entry, crescent retried. I am anticipating conflict, paranoia, disposition, relevance, pro-treated displacement, alphabetized reconstruction, but we behave improperly, positioned to decry vengeance, open to long lines of dialogue roping communist approximations while burdened by wide patriarchal culture, forecasting its history as fact, a little denial, resplendent of fresh-baked bread that rose during gunshots of the apocalypse, secret life affirmations redundant to social conditioning, whosoever volleys microcosmic suppression of politics in the wild, regardless of photomagic incarnate, shall dissolve in anachronistic times. Force into form, a sip of cool water in this heat. Look at the children conditioned by authority. What part-time suggestion deconstructs revolution? If I wanted you, I'd stop and dismantle the idea of ownership, realizing the want of consists of empire consciousness, black-eyed Susans growing under the bird feeder, maybe a pillar of salt, maybe songular panic and jugular hysteria. Pardon this poem, which asks you to realize liberation. Press the wall, tumble it down. I fell in love, not to be sound. Forever longs to be you, however lots could be true. Body template, raise your divine transience, populated to displace the natives, regular Joe doing what's told, passive in the morning, coffee for me. I found love to be free. Also, if we bound by our compressions, do not correlate idiocy without awareness. As ignorant bread and butter, two flock merge, what will decline? Oh, America, give us a sign. Pulso tree who sees me, felled not, grows tall, old. And song sheltered not, bold outpouring of verse, people of home relinquish division, gunshots aimed at an ex-president, and power convoluted demise. And yes, I sweat this heat. One who repeats ambition, trim toenails, fingernails, shower soap and water. Personally, gods ambivocally rescind immortality, coaxing the children of the sun. Call me the people, lost herds of buffalo roaming antiquity and American extinction. Pass me in lullabies, turned by feel-good pronunciations, burdens on the dashboard, poly-coded tabletops, meet and greet with poetics, redemption. This body repeats no more, sons reclusive no more, villains presume power, but hark, the herald's passion for song. America redeems itself, a call to arms of love, compassion in the westward wind, dying tropes, a culture transforming. Left to our own devices, we emerge, fond of the little stories, nuances, figure it out. Symbolic, holistic compressions relative to divine revelations. A poem is a poem. Could you figure yourself, give yourself, pondering post-digital pre-numinals? Oh, past lives pertaining to procreation, wheels within wheels spin, psychedelic. And your body, does it rest, does it breathe? Put on palm screen videos, diet is not working, assassinations, sobered life, obstacles. And power? What have ye? Long lost hope of this whiteness blending, a culture consuming itself. Have heart, will you? Dismantling, yes, also revealing cyclic patterns. I contain this word, poems blending, love blending. Please reconsider death heroics. Death? You're redeemed by death. Oh, America, I sit in your story, passing me toward finality. Look, this poem has to end, but you don't. You, hero, apostle of love, you who stared down your son, do you claim yourself? Do you sing in the silence of futurity? Pose this antiquated body in symbolic correlation, the meat and potatoes of Godhead, passion. Do you claim it? Death does mean redemption. She folds herself into resolution on the shores of her love. What say you? Redemption in the homeland, your birthplace, magic, omni-expressive. Holding you, I remember and dispel all delusions. We don't know, yet we still love. I sit in poetics rediscovering myself. And America, you will finally become.